iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12 Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Welcome in here, race fans, to the Oxford Plains Speedway here tonight for the Best Colorful Creations Pro Series presented by the Upstate Racing League. The Best Colorful Creations Circle Cakes 100 here from the Oxford Plains Speedway. My name is Roger Muth. Alongside me is my trusty co-host, Kelly Dahl. Kelly, welcome to the Oxford Plains Speedway. We've been here numerous times here with the Upstate Racing League, and every time we come here, there's always some carnage.
Yeah, it always is an interesting race because here at Oxford Plains, this track is pretty much just one big circle. You do not have really any straightaways to get a run on another driver, so you kind of just have to get your nose in there and make things happen, and that usually kind of winds up or ends up with some drivers getting into each other, tempers flaring, and I think at least one time tonight, maybe even multiple times, we're probably going to see a driver catch some air off of those dirt mounds that surround the light poles on the inside of the racetrack.
You know, they always count how many flips are at the Chili Bowl. We're going to count how many times somebody hits a light pole here tonight at Oxford. We hope no driver has to hit that light pole because when you take a look here, like we are right now at the Arts Barbershop Championship standings coming in, Robbie Keneally is on a hot streak. He has won 2 races back-to-back here, so he is on top of the Arts Barbershop Championship standings. Joe Schaefer Jr. just sitting a handful of points back there. He is second coming in. Justin McDuff is third with Guillaume Fortin, who's had a fairly strong start to his season. He is fourth. Justin Fuller, after ripping off 2 wins to start the season, 1 here on the asphalt side of thing and 1 on the dirt side, well, he has started to cool off. He is 5th in the championship standings coming into the night with Brian Hacker 6th. Steph Marinac is back there in 7th. Matthew Barkhouse, a little bit farther than you would think to see him. He's back there in 8th. And these next 2 drivers, you really don't expect to see them this far back in the Arts Barbershop point standings. How about Mike Alexander sitting 9th and Bill Martin sitting in 10th? Kelly, they have a lot of work to do as we close in on the halfway point of the season. Just 2 races before we can call this season halfway.
Yeah, and unlike usual seasons here at the Upstate Racing League, we aren't doing a chase, and I'm sure we mention that every week, but it is something that is definitely going to play a factor because normally Mike Alexander and Bill Martin, they'd still be on that chase bubble. They'd still be sitting all right halfway through the season because their points would get reset. Not this season, though. They have to start closing that gap as they are still a number of points behind Robbie Keneally. I think that's 26 and 28 points respectively between the 2 of them. So they definitely have to have a good result tonight.
As we get ready to go racing here tonight in the Best Colorful Circle Cakes 100 here tonight, Best Colorful Creation is the premier custom cake provider for the Upstate Racing League. They have special cakes and you need them. Of course, our special boss of Al Smith It was his birthday yesterday, so happy birthday from all of us here, Mr. Al Smith. Turning 96 years old, if you believe that one or not. But it's time to go down trackside to get our starting lineup here tonight. Starting a lineup here for the Best Colorful Creations Circle Cake 100. Here tonight, starting on the front row, driving the Best Colorful Creations number 81 for the Misfit Motorsports entry, this is Jimmy McIntyre. Starting to his outside, driving car number 23, this is Ellie Musgrave. Starting back in P number 3, driving the 13QC, this is Guillaume Fortin. And driving the 88, the Eddie's Performance entry, this is Matthew Eddy. He'll start 4th. Rev Racing number 75 tonight, piloted by the driver of Mike Alexander. He'll roll from the 5th position, while Joe Schaefer Jr., driving car 6, will start right alongside him in the 6th position. 7th goes to the birthday boy, Mr. Al Smith Jr., driving car number 96. He'll have himself Ginger Ale and Captain Morgan here tonight. He'll start from the 7th spot. The Bartell Builders 2B out of Spirit Lake, Iowa, driving car 2B. This is Brett Bartels. Driving the Empire Racing number 20. This is Justin McDuff. He'll go from the 9th position. And Huntley, Illinois' own, the Empire Racing Team 11 Illinois, Brian Hacker, will go from 10th.
Rolling off in 11th place is going to be the number 51 Aftermath Motorsports machine of Justin Fuller. And lining up to his outside, the one and our current championship leader, Robbie Keneally. Rolling off in 13th in the GSM Racing number 39, that is Bill Martin, Dr. Noise himself, with Matthew Barkhouse in the 15, lining up in 14th. Vernon Woodard is going to be taking off in the 15th position in that number 73 machine, and to his outside with another one of the Aftermath Motorsports entries, that's the number 56 of Trey Edson. Jeremy Carpenter, the Carpenter Esports number 1 machine, he's going to be rolling off in 17th. EJ O'Rourke in the number 41, he'll be on his outside. Mike Holtzclaw going to be a little bit further back in the field tonight. He's going to be starting off in 19th and rounding out the top 20. That is Matt McLean.
Starting back into the 21st position, the driver out of Kutztown, Pennsylvania, driving the 31B here tonight, this is Donald Bennett. Driving out of Ohio, driving for the Empire Racing Team, the 98 Ohio, this is Chris Stump. He'll go from 22nd. 23rd on tonight's starting grid will be car number 12. This is Brian Rogers Jr., and he will roll 23rd. 24th will go to the Bearded Wonder, the car number 45 here tonight for the Smith Racing Inc. entry. This is Justin Smith. Starting back into the 25th position here tonight, driving car number 4, Rodney Hontoon will pilot that car. He will go 25th. And driving the 18 NYVT, this is AJ Hamill out of the Empire Racing Team. He will start back there 26th. And Andy Lambert driving car number 8 VT, he will go from the 27th starting spot. That's your starting lineup here tonight for the Best Colorful Creations Circle Cake 100, as 27 drivers have made their way here to the Oxford Plains Speedway. So
27 cars is a lot of cars for a very small track, and Jimmy McIntyre going to have to look in his mirror and see a lot of anxious drivers ready to go on this start.
I was going to say, and this is about to be crazy. 27 drivers for 100 laps here tonight as they come into the Hanson Starter Shop green flag zone here tonight. Jimmy McIntyre leads us to green here at Oxford. He'll get the great jump. Ellie Musgrave going to go up the track just a little bit down there in turn number 1. She will have the 13QC looking to the inside. She's going to check up, try to put herself down to the bottom side, but here comes the R&R Kinsman Auto Salvage number 75. It's the yellow highlighter machine here tonight of Mike Alexander. Lap 1, here goes the Jimmy McIntyre.
And I think we just had a crash. I believe Matt Eddy just lost it off of turn 4 and slammed hard into the wall there just past the start-finish line.
So that will bring out the first caution flag of the evening. The Eddy Performance Solutions number 88 here tonight. He does have a lot of damage to the right-hand side of that car, as it looks like iRacing, the officials here tonight, are going to put him back into position here. We'll see what happened to the driver out of Sanford, Michigan here. Let's see, as Matt Eddy, it looks like he has gone off track. Oh, almost got it into Al Smith there coming across the start-finish line. He went up into the wall there, going down into turn number 1. Remember, there is no wall technically down in turns 1 or 2 or 3. There is one coming out of turn number 4, but Matthew Eddy did find the, well, I guess you want to call that still the front straightaway wall.
Yeah, just a bit of the front straightaway wall, just on the entry into turn 1, and him remaining on the pavement for just that extra bit of time is what triggered the caution, because if you go off track, if you're in the dirt and spinning around, the sim will not recognize you and will not throw a caution. So if you just push a little too hard, go a little too wide into that dirt, it is just going to pull you in, and you're just going to be off exploring in the dirt while everyone continues lapping.
Well, that'll bring out the first caution flag. That will move just about everybody up at least 1 or 2 positions from where they were. Jimmy McIntyre still will hold the race top spot here with Guillaume Ford. He'll move up 1 spot because Ellie Musgrave has dropped 2. She's back there running 4th. Mike Alexander in the highlighter yellow machine here tonight. He is running in P number 3. Al Smith Jr. is 5th currently here. Justin McDuff is 6th. Joe Schaefer Jr. has dropped a spot. He's being scored in 7th, and Justin Fuller is 8th. Brett Bartels is 9th, and Bill Martin has picked up 3 on the opening lap here. He is being scored in the 10th position. iRacing pace car lights are off. We're ready to go back racing here tonight at Oxford.
Now everyone has to suddenly in the back run up to catch up as everyone files double file, as they do not have much time, as we are going to get ready to go once again. Pace car already turning into turn 4 now, as Jimmy McIntyre once again will have control of the field, getting into our Hanson starter shop restart zone. He will fire the engine. Green flag will come out once again, and we get a couple cars loose. Al Smith Jr. trying to hang on to that 96 machine going to turn 1.
A lot of dirty racetrack out there tonight here to start this race, as it will be Jimmy McIntyre still holding on to the top spot here. We're come by this time. He'll lead the first lap back to green flag as we're on board with him with our Xander side group onboard camera. A lot of drivers. Oh, one driver up over the curb. I believe that's the 2B of Bartels. That will stack him up about the mid-pack.
Big crash, and the caution is going to fly once again as more cars are still piling in there.
A lot of drivers down there, some of them off the racetrack, some of them piled in with a lot of damage here. So 2 very early cautions here tonight at the Oxford Plains Speedway, as that was the number 2B of Bartels, as he has damage now all over that Bartel build. There's brand new paint on that car, and it is tore up here tonight. We'll see if he can keep that car out there onto the speedway. Let's go back. Let's watch this right from the drop here. 2B, you see him get down there. Oh, Ellie Musgrave, wrong place, wrong time, as Bartels gets into her as he hopped the curb, and around goes the 2B entry. He got it refired and down to the inside, but not before it collected a couple other cars. Justin McDuff, watch here as we ride on board with the Dr. Noise onboard camera with Justin McDuff. This is what he saw. There's the 2B, and he gets tagged from behind. I believe that was the 11 Illinois of Brian Hacker. A lot of drivers escaping. A lot of room here to avoid if you're willing to go off the speedway.
Yeah, but I think the 2 drivers that got the worst of that was definitely the 20 and the 15 of Mike Alexander. As McDuff was getting spun around, Alexander had pretty much nowhere to go. That 20 machine kind of spun up right in front of him and kind of just went hard into him. Thankfully, with this track, it isn't going to be that big of an issue, as really there's no speed to really gain to be able to have aerodynamics play a part. But you got to worry about maybe damaging that radiator, as that 15 went hard in on that front nose.
EJ O'Rourke also getting turned around. There you see the nose of car number 15 as they get told to double them up here. We will complete lap number 12 here when we go back green flag racing. It will be Jimmy McIntyre that will lead us back as you see the field officially assembled. We'll come back this time into the Hanson Starter Shop restart zone, and we will get this one refired off here. The 81 of Jimmy McIntyre will lead us to green.
Jimmy McIntyre getting another good jump. That 75 machine of Mike Alexander, he's trying to get to the inside of Guillaume Fortin, and this bottom line is going to be the dominant one. The 75, though, getting a little bit loose off of turn 2, and that's going to allow Guillaume to get into that preferred lane. Now Al Smith Jr., he's going to be stuck to the high side as that inside line starts to file past them.
Can he find a way to get to the bottom side? There is Joe Schaefer Jr. in the Epic Media number 6 as Al Smith is to the outside. Maybe a little contact that time off turn number 2. They funnel it back down into 3. Schaefer right down there on the curb. Hacker would be the next car, and there's damage to that number 11 Illinois of Brian Hacker. Vernon Woodard right behind him. Al Smith still battling on the outside. He has taken that Best Colorful Creations number 96 and making it stick to the outside. Does lose the spot there to Schaefer. Here comes Hacker.
Yeah, Hacker now making the pass, and just up towards the front, Guillaume Fortin attempted the pass going to turn 3, but there was no gap for him to go. Now he's going to have a good run off of turn 2. He's going to look to the inside, but Jimmy McIntyre Jr. not going to give him any sort of chance. He quickly slams the door shut on that 13 QC.
Look at the battle for the race lead high atop the Speedway here tonight, brought to us by Brian Rogers Motorsport with our Brian Rogers Motorsports blimp camera. Now here comes Guillaume. Every time off turn number 2, that number 13 QC is shot out of a rocket ship. Now he'll have the inside here. He'll have the fender at the door. Contact for the race lead. Sideways goes Guillaume.
Fortan and McIntyre both going to hang on to it, and Fortan is going to run away with the race lead. So new leader, that 13 QC of Guillaume Fortan. Now Mike Alexander is going to shuffle past. Here comes Joe Schaefer Jr. He's also going to go past. And Jimmy McIntyre Jr. getting struggle. Oh, the 73 machine of Vernon Woodard. He gets spun around, and that is going to bring out our third caution of the night.
Ellie Musgrave, Al Smith Jr. both involved also. Caution lights are on for the third time here on lap number 20. So 20 laps into the books here tonight, and the caution flag waves for the third time as you see the 73 of Vernon Woodard going around. Of course, Vernon Woodard is the driver out of the Devil's Bowl Speedway as he runs 600 micro sprints during the summertime up in Vermont, New York, and traveling to Pennsylvania this season. Let's take a look, though, and see what happened to car number 73 here of Vernon Woodard. Does he get a piece of that apron, or does he get help here? Oh, he's going to get help by the 51. The 51 of Justin Fuller turning the 73 around off the curbing, and Ellie Musgrave, wrong place, wrong time. She ends up going off the Speedway. Right on board here with our Dr. Noise onboard camera with Ellie Musgrave. See, she gets a piece of Al Smith, and unfortunately, there was a 73 of Vernon Woodard spinning around, and she just caught him. Al Smith Jr. going to the infield there, but he will also be able to carry on. He will get his spot back, I believe, towards the front of the field.
I believe he is going to get waved back up around, so you are right. Al Smith Jr. still going to hang on to his top 10. Ellie Musgrave as well. Both of those drivers have moved back a fair amount from their initial start, and both of them, I believe, have been from the same thing, just getting stuck on the outside during a restart where there's really no hope for you at that point. You have to just hope for someone to make a mistake and for a gap to open up so you can get yourself back down to that inside line.
Ellie Musgrave, one of those Racing Designs Rookie of the Year candidates. They are part of our contingency package here with the Upstate Racing League. Rookie of the Year sponsors who make paint schemes and logos for the Upstate Racing League. Find them over on Facebook.com and tell them the Upstate Racing League sent you. Our Racing Designs top rookie, though, so far this year is Robbie Keneally. He does hold that top spot, but he is not right now inside the top 10 as we come back into the Hanson starter shop restart zone. Guillaume Fortan this time, the 13 QC fires it back off here. Mike Alexander going to go straight to the bottom side.
And this is exactly what both of these drivers need. Both are in contention still for the championship, and both now at the front of this field, while some of our other championship contenders struggling just a little bit. Joe Schaefer Jr., though, he's still running fairly well. He still hangs on to that third place. But Jimmy McIntyre Jr., our former leader, now stuck to that outside line as he has been falling back now down to 7th place, and now Al Smith Jr. trying to get underneath him to try to take 7th away.
Yeah, Jimmy had a quick car in the opening laps, but then got shuffled off the bottom side of the Speedway by Guillaume Fortan before the caution lights came on, and now Jimmy had to restart outside row number 2, and he has not been able to find his way down to the bottom side. There you see the 1K of Robbie Keneally now lurking down to the bottom side. Justin Fuller just got around him. Here comes Robbie Keneally. Then it'll be Ellie Musgrave. Everybody got the conveyor belt rolling down on the bottom side of the Speedway. Caution lights are coming on. Caution lights on. Brian Rogers, Matt Eddy have gone around here to bring out the 4th caution flag on lap number 28. So it does look like Brian Rogers and the number 12 machine will refire as you see him barrel down into the corner. What just happened between these two? The truck says they have it. Here is the yellow flag as it shows. Where's the 12 machine of Rogers? There it is. Oh, him and Chris Stump. Stump gets collected down there on the curb, and he bounces up into the number 12 of Brian Rogers. And Matthew Eddy, his night has been bad from the jump here tonight. He just cannot seem to catch a break.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to call what happened there. I think it was just a bit of a checkup, and just a result of that checkup is that 98 machine had to slam on the brakes because of the 8 and 22 in front of him of Lambert and Holtzclaw kind of getting into each other. And when that happened, unfortunately, that 20 machine rear-ended him. He hits that curb on the inside, which just spits him back up the racetrack. And like you said, just really unfortunate for Matt Eddy. Just not really a part of this caution at all. And then as he's trying to escape to the high side, just gets shoved off into the dirt and slams hard into that outside wall.
So it does look like Bill Martin, something happened with Bill Martin. He is actually going to be the lucky dog here, so Bill Martin will come back around here. So he'll be currently looking like he will be scored back onto the lead lap. So the driver of car number 39, the Dr. Noise entry, back on the lead lap. We'll see if he can work his way now. He'll be scored 25th. That's a lot of cars out ahead of him to pass. But he's one of those tough competitors out here that has more laps, well, than I think, Kelly, you and I have turned here on the iRacing service.
I would think so. He has been around here a long time. It puts a lot of work into what he does as well. So, and it really shows pretty much every week. Is he's one of the faster drivers and is always competitive here.
So I believe the lights on the iRacing.com pace car should go out here this time by, as they will. So it will be Guillaume Fortin down to the inside. It will put Mike Alexander to the outside. Then it will be Joe Schaefer Jr. inside row number 2 with Brian Hacker in his Carbon Junction entry. He'll start to the outside. That'll be Trey Edson, who's picked up 11 spots very silently here tonight in that Clemson entry. And Al Smith will hold that outside of row number 3. Hanson Starter Shop Restart Zone, and we are green here at Oxford again.
Guillaume Fortin getting a fantastic start, and Mike Alexander getting the start that he needed as well from Joe Schaefer Jr. Gives a gap just enough for him to get in. Al Smith Jr., though, once again having to restart in the outside lane. He'll gain a few spots, and we got 3 wide, a little few further back. 188 of Matt McLean and Robbie Keneally, and now there is going to be a caution once again.
Bill Martin involved. It looks like Rodney Hontoon in the RacingSchool.net entry is around. So the caution flag out here again at the Oxford Plains Speedway. Oxford, one of the toughest tracks that we will see here on the Upstate Racing schedule here for these drivers of the Pro Series. And the crew says they have it. Well, let's check it out. Watch the 4. Something happened here. It looks like a big stack of Bo Bartels goes down 3 wide, and that's just going to pinch everybody up there going into turn 3. Around goes the 4, and I saw Bill Martin have some damage on car number 39. Actually, it looks like he already had that damage, so when all these drivers come together on that 3 wide move down into the corner, pinches the 12 into the 4. Around goes the 4, and actually the 4 does catch the 15 of Matthew Barkhouse.
Yeah, really unfortunate for Rodney Hontoon. There was not much he could do as that 2B really dove down to the inside, and I don't think he would have, the 4 of Hontoon would have ever got the call that they were 3 wide. So he comes down thinking that the 12 is going to be down at the bottom of the racetrack and that he was going to be in the 2nd lane. Little did he know he was in the 3rd lane and needed to be way higher up.
So that's what brings out the caution flag here. Of course, Rodney Hontoon, another one of those Racing Designs Rookie of the Year candidates this season here with the Upstate Racing League. I bet Guillaume likes to see a lot of these caution flags because, well, he doesn't have to hold off. He doesn't have to drive as hard with car 13QC to hold off Mike Alexander, who, well, is one of the drivers I would not like to have in my rearview mirror with all the laps he has in the championships here on the iRacing.com platform. And then you have Joe Schaefer Jr., and then you have Brian Hacker. And you talk about the Brian Hacker story. Yeah, he races here on Thursday nights on the Asphalt program, but he also runs on Sunday night in the Bartell Builders Big Block Series. 2 seasons ago, though, Brian Hacker went to the championship banquet holding 2 plaques. He won the Bartell Builders Street Stock Division along with the Bartell Builders Pro Late Models on Dirt Division. Now trying his hand here on the asphalt side of things the last couple of seasons. And hasn't quite found gold just yet, but I got faith that possibly the number 11 Illinois of Brian Hacker might be able to find gold sooner or later here on Thursday night on the asphalt side of things. But we are ready to figure out who will win this one here tonight in the Best Colorful Creations Circle Cake 100 here as we come back into the Hanson Starter Shop Restart Zone. It'll be Guillaume down to the bottom side here once again. Mike Alexander restarting on the outside. Great start by Guillaume as he'll work into turn 1 as the race leader. Maybe a little team strategy there as the number 75 able to get down to the bottom. There goes single file for the top 3.
Al Smith Jr., he's going to find his way down to that inside line finally. And the 11 of Brian Hacker, as you were mentioning, he was finding his way towards the front, now stuck on that high side. He's going to be moving back as Al Smith gets to his inside. And here comes the 81 of Jimmy McIntyre. He's going to try to get there. He's actually going to check up and allow Hacker inside. So our next car that's side by side, that's the 23 machine of Ellie Musgrave.
Ellie Musgrave, of course, started into the second position here tonight. The youngster, the 18-year-old out of Washington, trending backwards. Remember, she has been involved in a couple incidents, none of her own here tonight, and, well, right now puts her outside the top 10. She does find her way to the bottom now. Jeremy Carpenter and Justin Smith door banging just a little bit. Maybe Justin Smith wants to be a little careful here. Jeremy Carpenter might tech his car next season and might say that's not legal at the Devil's Bowl.
Yeah, always got to remember who you're playing with. Is that one machine now still trying to fight against the 8 of Andy Lambert, who is to his inside. It looks like Lambert is going to get the advantage with that inside line, so that one machine got to find his way to the bottom. He's staying up on that second lane, and that's going to cost him another spot now as the 98 of Chris Stump. I don't know what Carpenter was doing, but he missed his opportunity to get to the bottom lane, and that's going to cost him 15th place.
Yeah, and that Oldsmobile, though, will hold it to the high side here. Still looking very clean. Still very early in this one. Not quite to the halfway point just yet. That Carpenter's tax service number 1 now has fallen back into the 16th position. He was at one point the highest running position for Jeremy Carpenter here tonight, was up to the 12th spot. Now back to running 17th, right where he had started as Vernon Woodard now. Looking to the inside, trying to bring that white and blue number 73 back up through the field, and Bill Martin right there rolling around the bottom side.
And that's the problem. As soon as you get moved out of the way by one car, everyone that's behind them that's nose to tail, and pretty much this entire field is nose to tail, they're going to start going by you. So he's going to have to look for his next gap, and as soon as he gets that gap, he needs to take it. If you need to be on that bottom line here comes his opportunity. There is a gap between the 18 and 22. The one still staying up the racetrack and just moving towards the back. So a big struggle here for Jeremy Carpenter.
So Carpenter going to lose a couple spots there. Look at it from our Xander sign onboard camera with AJ Hamill. There you see the one of Carpenter still up the speedway. Oh, Mike Holtzcall down onto that curbing. You'll want to stay away from the curbing here. And everybody's able to keep it clean, green, as there's your race leader. Guillaume Fortin will come by. He will see the cross flags. We are halfway home here tonight in the Best Colorful Creations Circle Cakes 100 for the Best Colorful Creations Pro Series, presented by the Upstate Racing League. So halfway home here at Oxford. There's your 2 top drivers. There's 3. There is 4. It's Fortin, Alexander, Smith, and Edson as they come across the line.
Yeah, a bit of a 5-car breakaway here at the front of the field. Guillaume Fortin still holding off Mike Alexander. Alexander's been kind of setting up a bit more towards the inside going into these corners, almost trying to see if he can maybe fake out Guillaume Fortin or capitalize on any sort of mistake from that 13 QC. So really what Guillaume just has to do is focus up front. Don't worry about what's going on in the mirror. Just keep hitting your marks, and so far he is doing that. He's not allowed any opportunity for that 75 machine to really even reach his bumper.
Right, and there goes the Trey Edson entry. He has picked up 12 spots. Of course, Edson starting way back in the field here tonight. The field was set by our top 15 in points, inverted themselves, and of course Trey Edson having to come from way deep in the field here tonight. Actually, that was the finishing position if I am correct there, but right now Edson is the biggest mover, up 12 spots running in that 4th position. He does have Justin Fuller, though, bearing down on him. There you see the driver out of Green, New York, running in position 6. Talked about Brian Hacker on that restart. He went backwards. He fell all the way to the 8th position. He has now worked himself actually back up to running in the 6th spot. So a +4 for Brian Hacker, but if you want to look from it from the restart, down 2 spots.
And these 5 cars seem to be kind of just content with cruising around for a little bit, but they've got to keep an eye on that lap counter, because since reading the halfway point, we've already put down another 8 laps since then, as we are rolling on lap 58 of 100. So it does not take long for the laps to tick away, with them only being about 15.5 seconds long. So these guys have to come up with a plan and be ready to make a move here as soon as they find the opportunity, because they may only get one opportunity to make a pass at this track.
When you see the hole, you hit the hole. And right now, Alexander is trying to find that as we go back on board here with our Ryan Rogers Motorsports blimp camera. You can see all 5 of our race leaders right now under that blanket. Of course, it looks like Justin Fuller right now maybe dropping off the back end here of the car 56, Trey Edson. As you see, that lead starts to open up that gap between car 56 and 51. So keep a close eye on that. Nobody else is making any moves, as I believe there is your Racing Designs Rookie of the Year candidate. He is your leader in that division. There's the 1K of Robbie Keneally. He's sporting a little festive colors. Got the Grinch, got a couple of the minions on there. I think that minion actually looks like Al Smith, but I mean, I'll let the race fans out there decide that while you look at the 1K there. Right now, Keneally is sitting back there in the 9th position. He's sandwiched in between Jimmy McIntyre in car 81 and the 88 of Matt McLean. There you see McLean sitting there in car 88. He's got the Beth's Colorful Creations on board riding with him this season. Good to see him being able to pick up the Misfits Motorsports group and getting the Best Colorful Creations logo on the hood of that 88. EJ O'Rourke, he was sideways, remember, 2 cautions ago. Got to go down to the infield, and now he has already worked himself back into the 11th spot in virtue of all those restarts.
A little bit further back in the field, the 98 of Chris Stump has not found himself in a good position. He's stuck on that high side now. He's lost ground to both the 20 of Justin McDuff, 73 of Vernon Woodard, and now the 39 of Bill Martin. He's going to get clear, and that gap is going to quickly be filled by AJ Hamill in that 18 machine. So the 98 of Chris Stump losing pretty much 4 positions there as soon as that 20 of Justin McDuff got to his inside quarter panel.
I think I just heard AJ Hamill, as he drove by, yell out "your mom" to Chris Stump. I'm not sure, inside joke is what I'm being told from the reporters down there, but I don't know what that's all about. Teammate rivalry is what they're expecting. But up front here comes Justin Fuller. He'll look to the inside for P number 4. He'll make quick work of Trey Edson. Edson slipped that time off turn number 2. Allowed the 51 of Justin Fuller to get to the inside, and Fuller did not wait for it. He did not sleep on that one. He went right for the hole, and right around he went. So now Justin Fuller will fall into that 4th position while Trey Edson back to 5th.
And trying to make the outside work already doesn't really work at all here, and it's only going to get worse as the tire marbles build up, and that is something that will not be clear during our caution. So the track will not be swept, and you can already start to see it getting very dirty out there. There is a lot of chunks of rubber as these guys tear up these tires pretty much in a constant corner here.
And into that corner there, you saw EJ O'Rourke just slip up off the bottom side, and Ellie Musgrave was able to position her number 23 and get on by, so she will work back into the 11th position. So maybe here on the long run she can work her way back up. So now after she got around EJ O'Rourke, she'll set her eyes on the number 88 of Matt McLean. Here comes the 1K of Robbie Keneally. He'll look to the inside of the Best Colorful Creations number 81 of Jimmy McIntyre. He'll take that spot, put Robbie Keneally into P number 8, and McIntyre now stuck to the outside. Here comes his team car. The Misfit Motorsports number 88 will work to the bottom side. He'll slip up a little bit, but he has the entry down into turn number 1.
Yeah, at this point, Jimmy McIntyre just has to let his teammate through and just slot in right behind them, because the more they battle, the more they burn their tires, and the bigger the gap gain gets to the 1K of Robbie Keneally. And if you're too far back, you can't capitalize on a mistake that they might make. And as I keep saying, it's hard to pass here. We've seen that, as you have to hope for a mistake or maybe force a mistake from your opponent. And looking up towards the front of the field with Guillaume Fortin, Mike Alexander, and Joe Shaver Jr., those are 3 very solid drivers. I don't know if any of them are going to make a mistake and allow another one to get through. So the question is, how bad do these guys want to win it? Are they going to maybe kind of get into one of the guys in front of them, or are they just going to have to try to hope for an opportunity to present itself?
Right on board with the race leader here of Guillaume Fortin, as this time by we will see 25 laps to go. Riding on board with the R&R Kinsman Auto Salvage onboard camera here, Guillaume will see the 25 to go marker first. And question being, short track racing here, Kelly, do we see that 3-tap Teddy rule come into effect here at Oxford? It's the bull ring, and if you move somebody up out of the way, they might not be able to get back to you.
Yeah, but I don't know if Mike Alexander would be the type to try to move another driver out of his way, especially one of his fellow countrymen, as these guys both hailing from Canada towards the eastern side, one in the Maritimes, one in Quebec. And I just don't imagine, despite Alexander wanting to regain his title or kind of defend his title and being a little bit further back in the points, I don't expect him to try to move that 13 to try to take the lead. If I were him, I'd be definitely happy with second place, as that would still gain a ton of points in the championship. But with Joe Shafer Jr. still holding 3rd place, it won't cut down that gap too much.
Looks like one driver making a pass there. Robbie Keneally will get to the inside of the 96 of Al Smith. Al Smith lets him go immediately, knowing there was a little bit of a hole back there behind the 1K. So Keneally now moving up into 7th, putting Al Smith back into the 8th position. Still the same 3 dancers at the front of the field, Fortin, Alexander, and Schaefer, and neither of those 3 drivers have found pay dirt this year. With 20 laps to go, we could have ourselves a possible first-time winner.
Yeah, and Guillaume hasn't found himself on the victory circle in the Upstate Racing League at all in his entire career here, so he's been driving for it. We keep finding him towards the front, but some bad luck always seems to find that 13 machine. So personally, I actually kind of want to stop talking about him, because last time we talked about him in this position, bad things happened. He got wrecked out of the race, and away his chances for his first victory went.
I'm sitting here biting my tongue and grinning, because I was about to allude to that while we talked about him at the Bull Ring and down at Irwindale, and now we're here talking about him again. He has 17 laps to go here. Mike Alexander still in second. Joe Schaefer Jr. Trey Edson has gotten back around the 51 of Justin Fuller. Fuller had that spot for a couple of laps, and now it goes back to the 56 of Edson. Hacker is still sitting there in 6th, with Robbie Keneally back there in 7th. Al Smith Jr. still running into the 8th position, while Matt McLean sits there running in 9th, and Jimmy McIntyre rounds down the top 10 cars here. Everybody still conveyor belting around. It'll be just 15 to go next time your race leader, Guillaume Fortin, comes back around here and hits the stripe.
And Keneally is knocking on the door of that 11 machine of Brian Hacker. He's been looking towards the inside a few times, but just hasn't had the run to be able to make the pass happen. So that 1 and the 11 are going to go for a fight, as Keneally probably wants to try to get by the 11 and try to close that gap. Nearly 2 seconds between Fuller and Hacker here on this racetrack, and at this track, it is a huge gap.
Keneally got a great run that time off turn number 2. Let's see if he can get through 1 and 2 here as good as he did last time, if he can get to the inside of that Pathfinder chassis, number 11 Illinois. Going to be able to get to the bumper, and he might give him a little shot there. It does look like Keneally's going to run a little bit wide down on turn number 3. He'll diamond that corner back off, but he'll have to regroup. Look at him in turn 1 now. He diamonds it up the track again, down to the bottom. Here he comes with another run. Just can't quite get there. The straightaways here at Oxford are so short.
They are very short. They don't allow an opportunity to really set up a move, and that may play a factor here with the race lead, as with just over 10 laps to go, they are closing in on the tail end of this field, as that 13 of Guillaume Fortin is slowly closing in on the 4 of Rodney Huntoon.
Robbie Keneally did just make the pass there, actually just got Hacker, and Hacker lifted, wanted nothing to do with it. It'll be 10 laps to go when they come this time. It'll be the double high fives at the flag stand. Guillaume Fortin will be the first driver to see those double high fives, and just 10 more times around the little bull ring here in Oxford as lap traffic. Look as we ride on board here with our Dr. Noise Custom Graphics and Diecast onboard camera here with your race leader, Guillaume Fortin. There is the traffic that is out in front of him. It's Rodney Huntoon, it's Jeremy Carpenter, and then it's the 88 of Matt Eddy. So 3 cars are in danger of going at least a lap down or multiple laps down if you are Matt Eddy here, and the laps are already closing down. Just since we started that, we're now already 2 laps past that.
Yeah, just 8 more laps to go for that 13 QC of Guillaume Fortin. Now the 75 of Mike Alexander, he's under fire from Joe Schaefer Jr. Joe Schaefer actually got to the rear bumper of that 75. He's going to give him another tap there, so just trying to maybe make a slight move and hope for that 75 to bobble slightly so that he can get himself underneath and into that preferred lane going to the next corner, but he's got to make that move happen quick. There's another shove, and that 75 is going to get sideways. Mike Alexander, though, going to hold on to it as Joe Schaefer Jr. trying his best to get around that highlighter yellow 75 car.
It'll be 5 to go in lap traffic, dead ahead. It will play a factor here tonight. 5 laps to go, this time right here at the line. Schaefer back into the rear end there of Mike Alexander. Once again, they are losing ground, though, to Guillaume. Right now, Schaefer is thinking if they get to lap traffic, if he's the car that's in second, he might be the one that's in the catbird seat. 4 to go this time by.
Mike Alexander now pretty much rear gunning for his countryman, just trying to fend off that charging 6 of Joe Schaefer Jr. Schaefer really has the speed over that 75 of Alexander, but Alexander running a very tight defensive line, keeping that thing right on the curb throughout the corners, not allowing Schaefer an inch of daylight to that bottom side. And now here comes the 13 of Guillaume Fortin. He's going to get around his first bit of lap traffic as Rodney Huntoon is forced to go up into the marbles and let this field by.
Popsicle sticks being wound up here as they come out. 2 laps to go here tonight at Oxford. Can Guillaume Fortin, caution lights are on. Caution lights are on here with just 2 laps to go. That will send us into overtime. Guillaume did not want to see the caution flag come out, as I believe it is the 73 of Vernon Woodard that will bring the caution flag out here. That will send us to overtime.
The advantage will still be to Guillaume as he will start on that inside line. I think the caution might hurt the most is Mike Alexander, as he'll now be forced to start on that outside. But yeah, Vernon Woodard getting tagged and going for a bit of a spin into turn number 3.
Let's take a look at it here on the replay. What happened to the number 1? Kind of wheel hopped it, got a shot from Bill Martin. And then, no, Martin gets right into the quarter panel of the car 73, sending Vernon Woodard down and getting him hung up on the curbing. So the 73 getting a little help from the 39 there of Bill Martin to bring out that caution flag. And, well, that's going to set us up here for overtime here with the Upstate Racing League. Upstate Racing League's overtime rule, we will have 1 chance at a green-white checker attempt here. So we'll go green, white, and checkered to finish this race here tonight at the Oxford Plains Speedway for the Best Colorful Creations Circle Cakes 100. And, well, you thought it was crazy to start the race. Kelly, you better buckle up or at least move to the back of the seat.
Yeah, this last restart is going to be hectic. If we get a caution right off the bat in that first lap, the race will be over right then and there. If we get back around to the line to get the white flag, the caution flag gets thrown out of the flag stand. We will go to the checkers no matter what happens at that point. So Guillaume Fortin, his number 1 focus is just getting a good start here. He needs to take off on the line, get himself to the bottom of turn 1, and just have a good, strong first few turns, and hopefully that'll be enough of a gap so that the car behind him won't be able to make any sort of move.
So will the Racing Designs number 13 QC be able to hold on and pick up his first ever win with the Upstate Racing League, or will the champion be able to find his R&R Kinsman Auto Salvage Ford Mustang? Will he be able to find a way around the outside? What about that Epic Media number 6? Could you think about the media storm that would happen here if Joe Schaefer was able to pull off this one? Or maybe the guy who's just been quietly sitting back there in 4th, Trey Edson, maybe he has something here up his sleeve. That's how they're going to line up for the first 2 rows. It'll be Justin Fuller, also then row number 3 to the inside with Robbie Keneally driving the 1K to the outside, seeing if the Grinch can steal one here tonight. Come back into the Hanson Starter Shop restart zone for the final time here tonight at Oxford. Green-white checker attempt number 1 in the hands of the 13 QC. Guillaume going to fire off. He'll spin the tires. Contact. Here comes Joe Schaefer to the inside.
3 wide in turn 1. Joe Schaefer, he's going to bump that 13. Cars are going to go off into the dirt. Joe Schaefer Jr. going to get his nose off ahead. He is going to take first place. Guillaume Fortin still fighting back. The 56 Trey Edson gives the 6 a shot. Still more bumping and banging. White flag in the air for the Carpenters tax service. One more time around. Who's going to take the checkered flag?
Right now, it is Joe Schaefer as he is out front, followed by Trey Edson. Then it's Guillaume battling with Justin Fuller for that final podium position. Out of turn 4 for the final time, it'll be Joe Schaefer Jr. picking up the Best Colorful Creations Circle Track 100 here tonight. Trey Edson, Justin Fuller, PM4, and Brian Hacker, your top 5. Wow. The catbird seat was Joe Schaefer as the 13 QC spun the tires on the restart. He just shot that Epic Media number 6 to the inside. And the papers tomorrow will read slingshot for the win.
Yeah, fantastic move from that 6 machine to make the most of his opportunity, and just heartbreak for the 13. I mean, Guillaume was leading pretty much this entire race. As we mentioned, he hasn't won here at the Upstate Racing League, but has come oh so close so many times. But unfortunately tonight, that is just going to add to that list.
Unofficial timing and scoring results on the left-hand side of your screen there. Find where your favorite driver did wind up finishing. Biggest mover of the race, of course, Trey Edson. He will finish in the 14th position, 1 spot shy of finding his way to victory lane here tonight. Justin Fuller in 3rd. Matt McLean, notable mention, he did pick up 12 spots here tonight. Justin Smith also picking up 12 spots to finish in the 12th position. Andy Lambert making his 2nd start this season. He will finish in the 17th spot, picking up 10 spots for himself, and Matt Eddy, the biggest drop in the bucket here tonight. He actually falls 21 spots to finish back into the 25th position. Wow, what a race that was. Of course, here tonight, we will have our post-race show coming up here in just a couple of seconds, brought to us by Best Colorful Creations. Don't go anywhere, race fans. Here from the top 3 after this. Welcome back here, race fans, to the Oxford Plains Speedway here tonight for the Best Colorful Creations Pro Series. It was the Best Colorful Creations Circle Cakes 100. We had to take a couple more slices from Beth and her Colorful Creations to find out who was going to win this one, and as you see it on screen, it was the Epic Media number 6. I believe, Kelly, you're standing by with the winner here tonight in Victory Lane.
Yeah, caught up now with Joe Schaefer Jr. And Joe, we watched the whole thing. We're not entirely sure. I'm sure you're probably not entirely sure, but walk us through that final restart. What happened there that allowed you to take the win?
First of all, I feel terrible that Guillaume got pushed out. He's a great kid, and I like him a lot. But it looked like, I mean, I'd been restarting in third gear all day, and for the exact reason why, I think Alexander was in second, spun his tires, looked like he got down into the side of Guillaume a little bit, walked them up the track, and given how hard it is to pass, I saw that there was a spot there I could get to his door going into one, and I took it, man. There's no other way to pass in this car. You got to take it when it's there, and we all came through the other side somehow, so I'm happy for it, at least.
Yeah, definitely a strong finish here tonight, and you had to move yourself up a few spots. You came back from 6th place to win here tonight, 5 spots gained, but we saw it was very difficult to pass here. I mean, how did you manage to get all those passes done?
Well, I think I was pretty fortunate on a couple of the restarts. I think on that first restart, I maybe got to 7th place and worked my way to 5th, and then, consecutive cautions just kind of kept staying on the bottom. And I guess at about lap 50, I started to pretty much go as hard as I could and stop saving, and I kind of abused Alexander's bumper a little bit, but I wanted to make sure I wasn't losing any ground to Fuller and Trey behind me. And it was because it's much easier to just, if I'm the fast one, I'm trying to go forward, it's a lot easier than trying to defend from somebody from behind, and I knew those two guys were back there. I just didn't know how close, and I think saving for the first 50 laps or so paid off at the end because I had a ton of grip there for the last 20 or so.
Well, next week we get a bit of whiplash going from a really small, flat, tight circuit to a big, high-banked Richmond Raceway, and it'll be also the midway point of the season, and you're sitting up towards the front of the point standings. I mean, are you looking forward to our next race at Richmond?
Yeah, I'd say Oxford's probably my favorite track, and Oxford and Southern National, but Richmond is right there too, so I'm looking forward to it. Probably has a potential to be a couple of long green flag runs. Maybe fuel will come in. I know there's a set of tires at every race, and Richmond might be one of those tracks where tires are really helpful, so I think it'll be a fun one.
All right, Joe. Well, I'm sure you're familiar with our procedure by now because you've been up here a number of times, to say the least. Before we let you go, though, who would you like to thank for your run here tonight?
I got Bill Martin with Dr. Noise Custom Design and Diecast. He paints all my cars every week or every year because I can't do it myself, and I feel like I never give him enough credit. But also Drew Krybeck with Epic Media, Al and all the guys behind the scenes at Upstate, and obviously you guys for putting on the show.
All right, well, that was Joe Schaefer Jr. Joe, thank you once again for coming out and talking to us, and hopefully we'll hear from you next week.
I hope so. Thank you, guys.
So that was the driver of the number 6 Epic Media Machine, our winner here tonight of Joe Schaefer Jr. Now moving along to our next in line, I believe Roger has caught up with him.
I've caught up with the driver out of North Carolina, a long way from home here, but this Aftermath Motorsports number 56. A little damage early for you, Trey, but you were able to overcome that to pick up the most positions gained. Question being, where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe?
Yeah, no joke. I feel like I was started dead last. That's what it felt like, at least. But just stayed on the curb and kind of, with all the restarts early in the race, you just tried to make sure I was in an odd number spot. So when the caution come out, you're on the bottom. So Joe hit on it there. The bottom was so dominant, just you could get 2 or 3 spots every restart as long as you were on the inside lane. So there was strategy to that, and then working with Fuller, we kind of had moments where I was faster than him and he was faster than me, so I let him go to see if we could just kind of work together and catch that top 3. But both of us just kind of made our right fronts mad. It started plowing, so we kind of died the last 20 laps there.
You say the last 20 laps you died, but it came down to that green-white checker, and you were sitting in a perfect spot to see what was happening out in front of you. What happened on that restart that really bunched up the front competitors here and allowed you to sneak on by?
I'm not even really sure. I know I got a pretty good restart from 4th, which that was the outside, so I figured I was going to go backwards. But the 75, he didn't go, and I've kind of been frustrated with Mike and his lack of aggression this season. So I wasn't lifting for him, so I think I gave him a boot off into 1. And then I just kind of glanced over, and I saw Joe flying in there on the bottom. And I was like, well, what do we got going on over here? So I was clear. I turned in behind him and just followed him through. I gave him a little shot into 3, coming to the, I believe it was coming to the white, hoping it would kind of get him sideways and push him up the track, but wasn't quite enough. I didn't want to send him off into the sand dunes there, but I tried to win it. So you can, if you run second and you didn't even try, sometimes you just sit there and think, well, what more you could have done. But I gave him a bump, so it wasn't enough. But I'll take a P2 after, like you said, starting way out there.
So a good points night for you here, Trey. Congratulations on a podium spot. Before we let you go, though, I know there's some people behind the scenes back home that make this all possible for you to come out here on Thursdays.
Really just thanks to my wife. She kind of takes care of my son at night because these kind of start around, the practice goes up kind of around his bedtime. So she takes him, gets him down, and lets me come do my thing. Thanks to Al and everything he does behind the scenes here with the league and all the sponsors, and Fuller, he takes care of my entry fee. We run another league a few times a week all year long, so and that's mostly NASCAR big ovals stuff. So this is something he got me into to kind of do during the winter, something completely different than what we normally do. So the car's foreign to me, and some of the tracks I'm kind of don't know what I'm getting into, so if we look like we're lost out there, sometimes that's why. But thanks to you guys. I'll probably go back and watch some of this tomorrow. So hopefully we can get a string of these finishes together, and I can talk to you guys more often.
There you hear it from the driver out of North Carolina here tonight, and driving the Aftermath Motorsports number 56, Trey Edson picks up 14 spots to finish P number 2 here tonight. Kelly standing by, though, with our final driver on the podium. I believe he comes out of that same stable of drivers.
Yeah, caught up now with the 51 driver. It is Justin Fuller. And Justin, it was definitely an interesting night. I mean, it is a very difficult track. You started a little further back. You had to come up 8 spots. How hard was it to make moves here?
Really hard. I mean, it's so hard to pass here without having to move somebody, really. It's really just follow the guy ahead of you unless in case he makes a mistake. So get stuck on the outside on a restart, lose multiple positions, kind of just like last week. The bottom is the way to go. It's just that way across iRacing right now, unfortunately. So hopefully someday we'll get dynamic tracks back so we can move around and until then, this is what we got, and we were able to bring it home third.
Well, next week, as we kind of mentioned earlier on, we're going to be going to a bit bigger of a track of Richmond Raceway, and you won at the beginning of the season at sister track Iowa Speedway. So, are you feeling pretty good about your chances next week?
Yeah, not with this handicap inverting stuff though. So, it's just I haven't grown to like that yet. But you know, we all have the same rules to play by, so just gotta do it, you know, just run it how it is, and hope you end up on top. I'd much rather qualify, but you know, this is what we got, so we all got the same rules to abide by, and hopefully we can have a good run next week. You know, earlier in the race I got into that I don't know what his name is, a 73 car. I didn't claim that caution because I felt like I was under him, so I may get moved back from third here anyway and have to start, you know, in the back next week anyhow. So that was kind of my thought process on that, honestly, was I thought I was under him, and the replay, to me, it looks like I'm under him. Maybe I'm biased on that, but so I didn't claim that, and I kind of used Barkhouse as a note, because I knew he pitted for tires and he only got back up to as high as 16th. So I figured if I claim this, I'm probably not gonna. It's gonna end up being a drop race anyway. So I'm just gonna take it and hope that they see it my way. And if they don't, I'll just accept the penalty, move on to next week to Richmond, and hopefully have a good run there. You know, like you said, we won Iowa earlier this year, dominated that race, and we were able to bring it home. So hopefully we can do the same. But you know, it's a different track, so we'll see.
Well, before we let you go here tonight, who helps you get it done here with another fantastic finish?
You know, I got to thank Al Smith and all the admins at the Upstate Racing League for what they do. Thanks, Best Colorful Creations for sponsoring the league, sponsoring this race. Thank all the guys that were in the race. Thank everybody that watched. Thank you guys for putting on the broadcast. Thanks, Scott Stenzel, Personal Comfort, better price. You know, I have one of their beds and pillows. They're fantastic products. I'm not just saying that because he sponsors me. You know, it's not like I'm getting, you know, big money from him. It's really good stuff. So if anybody's in the market for that stuff, you know, go ahead and check it out. I got to thank Trey for painting all my cars and keep me looking great out here on the track. I think, you know, there's a lot of good looking cars out there on the track, but I think we have some of the best looking ones between me, Trey, and EJ. So, you know, thanks to him. And yeah, just looking forward to the next one. Looking forward to Sunday night.
All right, well, good luck to you both next week and Sunday night, because as you just mentioned, that does bring that up. The Upstate Racing League does not only race on Thursday nights, we also have Sundays in the Bartell Builders Big Block Series. So hopefully we will see you again there on the broadcast. Justin?
Well, yeah, you know, it's Weedsport this week, and if you remember last year at Weedsport, I ran with a controller, so we got a steering wheel this time around. That's probably my favorite dirt track, so we're looking forward to it.
And I think last season that was the only time I beat you because you were using a controller. But well, good, like I said, still good luck to you. Thanks for coming out and talking to us, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, Kelly.
All right, that was Justin Fuller, driver in the number 51, our third place finisher. And Roger, it was definitely an interesting night, so I'm going to send it back to you for some final thoughts.
I'm still over here giggling like a little schoolgirl to myself about Justin Fuller running last season at Weedsport with a controller. Talk about juggling balls in a circus. That's what it absolutely looked like. And Kelly, congratulations. You did beat him back at Weedsport last season. But boy, what a race it was here tonight at the Oxford Plain. A little shaky getting things going here, but once the boys got it all figured out, we had ourselves one heck of a race here to the finish. But it was all Joe Schaefer Jr. being able to go to victory lane here tonight with Trey Etzen in second. You heard from Justin Fuller. Those are your top three drivers here tonight. We will be back in action, though, with Bartell Builders Big Block Series for the Upstate Racing League. Just on Sunday night, we will head to the Weedsport Speedway. Of course, then we will head to Eldora, but that's coming all up on the dirt side of things. Next week, when we bring you back here on Thursday night, we will head to the Richmond Raceway for the Dr. Noise Custom Diecast 100. Kelly, before we go here tonight, Oxford, we coming back?
Surprisingly, this was actually a lot better than some other years that we've been here at the Oxford Plains Speedway. And like I said, I guess I was wrong at the beginning of the broadcast. I thought we were going to have a car leap off of one of those dirt mounds. This season, we didn't actually have it. When last year, I think we had 3 cars catch air and end up on their lids off of those dirt mounds. So, yes, there was a few cautions, but as far as Oxford Plains go, this was a very clean and very sporting race.
Well, there you hear it. Kelly says pretty much in a nutshell, great race, and we're coming back next season here with the Upstate Racing League. So, for everybody with the Upstate Racing League, Best Colorful Creations, Xander Sign Group, R&R Kinsman Auto Salvage, Dr. Noise Custom Graphics and Diecast, and of course, Art's Barbershop, along with Brian Rogers Motorsports. My name is Roger Muth with the Turn 3 Racing Network. That's Kelly Dahl. We hope you all enjoyed tonight's broadcast here at Oxford, and we hope you all stay safe, and we will see you at the races.